All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden wiring that really powers the world's most successful companies. You know, it's not just about a great product or a clever ad campaign. It's about something deeper, this powerful, essential connection between a company's big picture strategy and its IT infrastructure. So let's get into it. So, you ever look at the giants, the big players in any industry, and just wonder, how do they do it? What's the secret sauce that lets them consistently innovate, scale up, and just flat out perform better than everybody else? You know, it's tempting to point to just one thing, right? A genius CEO, some miracle product, a bottomless bank account. But the real answer? Well, it's a lot more complex, and honestly, it's way more interesting than that. And this, right here, is the key. The real lasting advantage comes from alignment. It's that seamless integration of your business goals with the technology that supports the entire company. It's when your organization, your strategy, and your info systems are all singing from the same song sheet, all pulling in the exact same direction. So, first up, let's unpack why this connection is so incredibly important. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking here, seeing information technology not just as some utility humming away in the background, but as a core driver of the business itself. And this is really the heart of it. The best companies out there are the ones that perfectly align their technology with what they're trying to achieve as a business. Think about a company like Zara. Their whole strategy is fast fashion, so their IT is built for speed. From tracking customer taste in real time to managing a supply chain that moves at the speed of light. The IT isn't just supporting the strategy, it is the strategy in action.
Okay, so how does this alignment actually give you a competitive edge? You know, a real, sustainable advantage that helps you win in the marketplace. This is where all that theory gets very, very practical.
What's so fascinating here is the massive mindset shift this represents. For decades, a lot of companies saw IT as just another expense on a spreadsheet, a cost you had to keep on a tight leash. But the strategic view, man, it just flips that whole idea on its head. Suddenly, IT is the engine. It's an investment that actually drives revenue, opens up new doors, and builds a defensive moat around your business. So how does that value creation actually happen? Well, first, you use your systems to lock in customers. Think of Apple's ecosystem. Once you're in with their devices and software, it's just easier to stay than to leave. Second, you build huge barriers that keep competitors out. Walmart's legendary supply chain was so ridiculously efficient that it was almost impossible for anyone to compete on price. Third, you make your own operations leaner and meaner, cutting costs with automation. And finally, all of this frees you up to innovate, like how Netflix used its data platform to evolve from mailing DVDs to becoming a global production powerhouse. We've been talking a lot about strategy and big ideas, but let's get down to the nuts and bolts for a second. What on earth are we talking about when we say IT infrastructure? It's a phrase that gets thrown around all the time, but what does it actually mean? The best way to think about it is as the company's digital nervous system. It's the collection of all the technology resources, the hardware, the software, the services that are shared across the whole organization. It is the foundation that every single app, every business process, and every service is built on top of. If it's not solid, the whole house comes down. And that infrastructure basically breaks down into three big pieces. First, you've got the hardware. That's the physical stuff. The servers in the data center, the routers, the laptops on everyone's desks. Then you've got software. The brains of the operation. This is everything from operating systems to the critical enterprise applications that run the business. And finally, and this is so important, you have services. This is the human element, the people, the experts who manage, maintain, and secure the whole shebang. But here's the thing. This foundation is not set in stone, not at all. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing. So let's take a look at the major trends shaping IT infrastructure and tech platforms right now. I mean, just look at this timeline. The acceleration is just mind-blowing. We went from these giant room-sized mainframes to the PC on every desk, to connecting them all in networks. But then, boom, the last decade or so has been completely dominated by two massive shifts, the move to the cloud and the rise of mobile platforms. And that has changed absolutely everything. And if you want proof, just follow the money.
You can see it right here. Companies are spending less and less on buying and maintaining their own physical servers in their own buildings. And where is that investment going? It's flooding into cloud services. And why is that? It's all about flexibility, scalability, and power. The cloud lets companies essentially rent exactly the computing power they need right when they need it. So this brings us to our final and maybe most crucial section. Because things are moving so fast, and because this foundation is so vital, planning your infrastructure isn't just some technical exercise for the IT department anymore. No way. It is a strategic imperative for the entire leadership team. You know, good planning really starts with asking the right and sometimes tough questions. Don't just ask if your tech works today. Ask, does this support where we're trying to take the business in 5 years? How quickly can we scale up or change direction? And this is a big one. Do we really understand our total cost of ownership, our TCO? That's not just the sticker price. It's all the hidden costs of maintenance, support, and upgrades. Answering these questions is how you build a foundation that's truly ready for the future. So I'll leave you with this one thought. We hear it all the time, right? Data is the new oil. But oil just sitting in the ground is pretty much worthless until you have the rigs, the refineries, and the pipelines to get it out, process it, and deliver its value. The exact same thing is true for data. Your IT infrastructure, that is your rig, your refinery, your pipeline. So the question is yours ready to drill? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.